Hello, everyone. Welcome to another scene of Edessa, the Dark Crusade. I just realized I have the wrong picture up. Anyway, um, we continue the Elysium scene where there has just been a new prince chosen. Yay! Long live the Ventru. And after all this commotion, things are slowly, coming to an end. The night is slowly coming to an end. I suspect a lot of K-Knights have kind of already left since all the excitement now is over. And a lot of others are still like, talking about everything that has happened during all this talking and voting tonight. Irene, for her part, will make her way over to the Merchant of Bones, who's probably talking with, well, people she's been talking to, and she'll curtsy and we'll wait for him to have some time to address her if he even notices her.
Yeah, when she curtsies, the Merchant of Bones will look at her, give her a small, nod that he recognizes her, and then looks to the group of people that he's talking to, most likely maybe some Cappadocians from Timurin. Um, he just kindly breaks off from that conversation, ending it with a small bow, and then kind of turns towards Irene, taking a few steps uh, just past her. He seems to um, put some distance between himself and the Cappadocians that he was talking to, if only just because to give Irene her due attention. Uh, Assuming she has some business to talk about. So yeah, he gives her a small bow, um, and just kind of pipes up. Irene, good to see you. I take it the excitement um, is not too well. The news of tonight is not too unpalatable for you, is it?
And Irene will smile. She says, "No, not at all. I think I think this is not too bad of an outcome, and I am looking forward to see what this new prince can build. I can only hope for the best, but that would have been the case in any way."
Indeed, I'm quite interested myself to see how things will pan out. Having come here, seeing how most of the elders seem to operate, I imagine some will be in quite a sour mood these coming nights, but oh well. Such is the way of change.
Well, something new, something old.
Hmm.
I'm quite sure that the prince can rely on her new seneschal since, well, he already has so much experience.
Indeed. I can only imagine the kind of deal they struck, though I'd have to say that the Seneschal is a very astute man when it comes to politics. It doesn't seem like he lost anything. And some might say that he might not have gained, but he has several members that he has chosen on the court, it would seem. That's very powerful in its own right.
I agree. I I do not know my great grandsire very well, but I think this is a good position to be in for him, and I would not be surprised if it would have been his goal all along. But I would not dare to say that I know the heart of an elder of my clan or anyone else's. I
Mm,
only hope that the eventual are not too mm, split up. It seemed that their primogen was rather upset, and that worries me.
hmm. Like I said, change is inevitable. Elders are stuck in their ways. They're like large rocks trying to move them when trying to sway them to any kind of new belief or new process or anything innovative. It's understandable. What works usually works, but sometimes, in order to make something better, you have to destroy it. So, that is, I believe, what is happening here. And as far as the machinations of elders, I understand that, especially dealing with the ones that we're dealing with that are plaguing Edessa.
Speaking of those, I was hoping if you would accompany me to, well, some air outside. I might have some information that you might find interesting.
Hmm. I've been wanting to take in the sights from the balcony. I've heard all about them, at least from one person I've come across in each different bubble conversation. I guess it's only fitting to kind of end the Elysium with such a breathtaking view of Timurin and its surrounding territory. Let us talk.
And yeah, Irene will lead the way to one of the balconies. I think they might run into Memnon at that point because he needs to be in the scene as well.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, I was called.
I mean, we're making our way to the balcony. Would
Yeah, you
you?
know if you want to introduce yourself, you're totally
Yeah.
fine.
um. Okay. Memnon had been working on the door that was damaged earlier by person he was introduced to by as Herman. Um, I guess after inspecting it and putting whatever labor he could into it, seeing that the hinge operates well, he goes back into the hall, just kind of looking to see if all of his clanmates have left. And I would assume that at some point in his searching, he would come across Irene, the Merchant of Bones, who I believe an introduction was made, but he's yet to really conversate with the man. And he'll kind of just, I guess, creepily wait a few feet away, not wanting to interrupt the conversation, but there.
Does he like wait to get noticed, or is he just like, doing the creep thing where he's pretending that nothing interests him but is following the conversation anyway?
Yeah, pretty much. Like he'll probably be like leaning against
Okay, great.
I guess the doorway or exit onto the balcony, but I mean he's not trying to hide, but he's just waiting to announce himself whenever there's a break in the conversation.
Well, there's definitely a break as the two of them are slowly getting to actually step onto the balcony.
Hmm.
Um, then he'll just announce himself and say, "Lady Irene, you're still here."
Sememnon, of course. And you? are here as well.
Just finishing up a small task for the keeper.
I see.
Hmm. Gerard does know how to stir up a party, doesn't he? Even though he wasn't the one to perpetrate this action. I must say thank you for, even though it's not my Elysian, though, is one of my associates that seem to contribute to this, even if by proxy. Thank you for your efforts in restoring the door. If it was too much trouble, uh, I can maybe give you compensation if you require, but seems like that's already well in hand as far as from Gerard, it seems.
Oh, I am honored by your gesture, but helping the keeper is more than enough of a compensation.
Mm. Showing somebody that you're indispensable and willing to work in a pinch is definitely a way to get yourself noticed and shown that you are reliable. And then that ways that pays dividends.
Memnon just taps his nose.
But how rude am I? I have not met you. I am the Merchant of Bones, or you may call me Adam if you prefer. I am a Cappadocian Ancilla uh, from Edessa.
I am Memnon, neonate of Clan Lasombra. I am, well, not native to these lands.
Hmm, that's good to meet you. I am not. I've come from funny enough Cappadocia about maybe 3 months ago. Oh, as Edessa is shown to be quite a welcoming home, though, despite all the problems. And I've been more than compelled to try to uh, fill in the cracks of its foundation, uh, especially regarding the issues of the plague and now further issues with people that assail it. Hmm. Have you come to take liking of uh, Cimarron? I'm assuming, are you, well, I shouldn't assume. Are you staying here or are you also a resident of Edessa?
I am a resident of Edessa.
Ah, good. Good, good, good. Though then I could not blame you for wanting to stay in such a resplendent and very peaceful town that seems to be um, Cimarron. Though having more in Edessa does make things help us in a way.
There's more opportunity, I find, in Edessa, while Timoran's peace speaks to those who are in charge of it.
Yes. Well, uh, you trust this man, Irene?
Hmm. Irene will look at Memnon for a moment and then back at the Merchant of Bones. She says, actually, he, well, the information that I have to share with you, well, partially comes from Memnon himself. So, Memnon, would you like to accompany us? We're going out on one of the balconies for a conversation and some sightseeing.
Very well. If you desire my company.
Only if you
Yes.
have time. Oh.
I'm
Then he'll
sorry.
just, yeah, Memnon's just going to gesture for you to lead the way.
Yeah, Irene will. I presume they're like curtains or curtains in front of the doors as well, because why the fuck not? So she'll open one of the curtains towards the one of the balconies, and out they step. yeah, I mean, as far as the view goes, I'm not Chris, so I can't really tell for sure. But let's just say that this one does indeed is the same where Irene and Memnon had the conversation before. So it looks out over the gardens of that surround the palace. So there's a lake with a little gazebo and trees and everything, really idyllic. And then beyond that, down the hill, there is the town of Timoran that stretches out, and behind its walls, yeah, the rest of the landscape of the area. I don't believe you can see Edessa from here on, but I'm not entirely sure. You might just see it.
Hmm. Yeah, the Merchant of Bones just kind of steps out into the balcony. Um, yeah, it's a little languid as he obviously walks with a cane. Kind of just rests his free hand on the railing, just kind of takes in everything um, for a moment or two, kind of letting them, get settled or maybe discuss whatever they want to discuss beforehand, um, whether it's big or small, but or if they even want to. But either way, he kind of just after a minute just turns and just has like a rather um, like wide smile, um, just having kind of looked out and everything. So um, he just kind of turns and and leans against the railing, um, and just looks to Irene. So I'm assuming this is regarding the wishing woman.
Indeed. She looks at Memnon with look like you know what I'm talking about. And she
Mhm.
for a moment she looks out. She looks specifically to the lake. There's a kind of a frown on her face, ever so slightly, as she looks at it, and then turns around and just leans against the rail and looks at the two gentlemen. Um, actually, I found her.
Did you?
Mm,
Pray tell where?
it wasn't necessarily me. It was actually Memnon who came to the city and brought news of a woman dressed in white performing miracles.
Ah, yes, her.
The one at the fountain.
Yes.
Indeed.
Hmm. He just lets off a small rolling chuckle. Uh, why am I not surprised? I have heard such tales of miracles being performed at the fountain, and me myself was interested in checking it out or doing some investigation, but with everything going on, I just didn't have time. Oh, well, now that I might have to make sure I make the time, tell me what did what did she have to say or do? You both are still here, and you seem to be a perfect sense. How did
I
he interact
avoided
with you?
her. Sorry.
No,
I'm
you're
sorry, I didn't
good
mean to
though.
cut you off.
No, you're good. He's done now.
Um, he'll look to Irene, and though his comments for you, he says, I personally avoided her, though I kept an eye on the lady here.
Mm, I cannot blame you for that, having witnessed what she is capable of firsthand, trying to enact against her, and being fruitless in that endeavor. Maybe, you know, keeping your distance was a good idea.
Well,
I,
sorry, go on.
you can finish your sentence first because
No, it's all right. You should go first.
okay. know what you're saying. Irene stays silent for a moment and then is like, I did talk to her. She had a line of people waiting, and I decided to first just see whether she would recognize me for what I am, which she did. Of course, the downside to that was that once she recognized me, there was not really a way to go without a conversation had I wanted to.
Hmm.
I asked her why she did what she did, especially since her actions helping humans with their problems, the things that she's doing right now, didn't match up with inventing a plague that killed so many. She explained that the plague was basically the idea of the one we call a tactician. Mm, she helped him because she is trying to. I don't know exactly what she's trying to do. She was quite open though. She said that she was very disappointed by the actions of all of us, Canaanite populace of the area, perhaps even of the entire world. I would not know. She calls many of us petty, cruel, power hungry murderers for no apparent good reason. And she tried to change how they acted in the past, but she feels she's limited by her age and her blood, as she feels that that is what we all are, limited. We can't be honest to ourselves.
And yet she endeavored to create a plague that killed how many people? I don't think I was here for this event.
At least
Many.
a third of the population of Edessa. Many are still dying. It'll end up being about that much if my math and knowledge serves me well. Hmm. So she said specifically that she is held back by her age and her blood.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yes, but she feels that, like I said, all Canaanites are limited because of what we are and by what we are.
Hmm.
Oh, sorry, go on.
No, he was just thinking. Go ahead.
My mom would say, and what isn't limited in this world?
I'm not sure. I'm not even entirely sure I understand what she meant with that. I was kind of hoping you might, as she looks at the Merchant of Bones.
I mean, in the practical sense, if she feels her age and her blood is holding her back, she's limited in what she can do and how much she can affect. I mean, let's be honest here. If you've ever seen or have heard of elders that are um, of thicker blood or are long lived, they are quite capable in both blood magic and or blood sorcery and their hold and over mortal affairs and getting mortals to do their bidding, even other Canaanites. but something tells me, or at least it feels like, she needs to become mm, stronger, maybe, um, through the blood, by the blood,
I don't
for
know.
uh,
I have the feeling that she's speaking about something else. She said something like, despite all our powers, we are limited. It's almost like she's talking about our souls, our way of thinking, our way of acting.
hmm,
But isn't that obvious? It doesn't take a wise man to realize that one is limited by their circumstances. We all are. It sounds like to me she is projecting her own weakness upon everyone else.
I can definitely agree to that. Uh, though, as uh, as I said about elders, though their way of thinking tends to transcend all normal rational thought. There could definitely be a deeper purpose to that, though. Hmm.
The plague wasn't her idea, as I said before, but she felt that sacrificing these humans to further her goals would save a lot of lives in the end. This is, like I said before, this wasn't their end goal. They're looking for more. But the group that she's with, tactician, the others, each of them has their own goal. She didn't explicitly told me hers, which I didn't expect so, but
Hmm. Do you know how many there are exactly? Did she tell you?
yes, there's 7 of them.
Hmm. That's uncomfortable. Knowing that. Hmm. Not that the two or three that we knew about was any better, but hmm.
I also think she didn't explicitly name the tactician, but later down the conversation she mentioned a name that I believe she referred to him. She called him Gaius. Which might be useful information, and he was after an artifact that the prince had.
Yes. Um.
Do you know what it is?
The artifact that they were looking for is one. It is a jar with containing a spirit in it, a
A
wraith.
tempest. A tempest prison, they called it. She called it.
Yes, that is the name it is known by. It is basically a container for souls, for wraiths, ghosts, however
Mhm.
you wish to address them by. Um, though the exact reason why this particular soul was important to them, I don't exactly know yet.
Neither do I. She did say that he moved on to another place.
Hmm.
She remained here to help the citizens of Edessa with these blessings to pay for what she did. Sorts of penance, I think.
Hmm. How interesting. She claims she wants all this changed, but's not able to pay the price for it, and feel that these miracles will wipe the stains from her hair, the blood from her hands. Oh, what a poor soul you are.
She sounds either deluded by her own grandeur or an utter hypocrite.
I think she realizes very well that she cannot pay the debt off by these things that she does. But to do something back for the city in her own way.
Though, there's nothing unusual for her. From what I understand, she has always been as benevolent and thoughtful as far as her actions go, especially towards the mortals. She has been known to she would give her own heartbeat to a dying one if she could. Hmm.
I was wondering, because she didn't want to mention it. Do you know her name?
I do not know her real name,
I
unfortunately.
see.
Only, like I said, that she goes by the Wishing Woman. Hmm. The information I found on her did not give any indication of another name either, unfortunately. The good news is that you did say that they all have their own agenda. And if they all have their own agenda, that means that we could use their agendas against them. We can weaponize it, force them to maybe take each other out or manipulate them in ways to get them to do what we need them to do. Hopefully, put the odds back in our favor as far as how to deal with them.
Yes.
Are
As for
there? Sorry, go on.
as for her own goals, she mentions that she's doing this so that she can stop the predations of Canaanites. I At first I had the feeling she was talking about finding a way to destroy all Canaanites, but I don't believe that was entirely the idea she had.
From what you have told me and what I know of her, I believe that if she can not kill anybody in the process, and she would abstain from doing such. So I'm not too surprised, though. Then again, I'm not too sure how many options are out there. And this is just me talking because, you know, um, there's so much knowledge and sorcery out there that um, one can't even imagine. And
Yeah.
but still, mm, if she doesn't wish to kill us, the only other option would be to subjugate us in some manner, to force us to her will.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Then we should meet her with a strong resistance, if that is the end goal of their machinations.
Only her own. I have no doubt that the others do not see, or am I saying this correctly? Yeah, I have no doubt that the others don't see eye to eye with her on that. They will have different goals.
Hmm. Yes. Though we cannot use her agenda until we get a better clear what exactly that is. We may have to pay her another visit. She doesn't seem to be hiding.
No, she's not. And she stated that she has no intention of hiding or moving.
Hmm.
However, of course, there's a risk involved entering that area. Even I felt slightly uncomfortable with it.
Indeed.
What do you mean?
There is a force that emanates around the fountain. It provoke inner beast in a manner of fear, terrible, terrible weight of self-loathing. I did not feel like myself in the presence of the fountain. It took some force of will to remain there.
Hmm. And this was from just being in the area itself, specifically the fountain.
Well, I began to feel this sensation well away from the fountain. Therefore, I assume that it radiates outwards.
Understood. Hmm.
I did not have that much issues going into that area. But like I said, I did feel some discomfort.
Understood. I'll have to keep that in mind. Hmm. Maybe see what I can find out regarding that. Well then, seems like your encounter with the wishing woman seemed fruitful after all. And having a good number of exactly how many people are in this, we'll say, coterie for them, uh, is a good thing to know. I can also add that I do know that there is a boy among them.
Yes, I know.
I don't know much about him, unfortunately, only that I have a very brief description, at least what was given to me from Sister Johanna.
I have that description as well.
Hmm. I'm assuming that Johanna might have written to you as well.
She has. She also tell you about the scalpel.
Uh, Sorry, I'm trying to remember. The characters trying, or the players trying to remember. uh, okay, yeah. I was not aware it was a scalpel. I do know there was some kind of um, weapon used that basically punched through her rather cleanly and very viciously.
He took a scalpel from the prince's collection. And yes, I think that's. She wrote that she did throw herself on the blade. There was a lot of magic in that scalpel.
Mm.
She
Then I
also
can
tell you. Sorry, go ahead.
no, then I can only assume that there's is heavily tainted. Well, not really tainted, but heavily imbued with necromantic um, magic. Then, for something so vicious as that, I couldn't assume it'd be anything else. Then again, elders are crafty in what they are able to obtain and come in possession of. Anyways, I'm just rambling. Go ahead.
Did she tell you about the tablets?
Yes, I have a copy of it.
You have a
Hmm.
copy of it?
A like an impression, perhaps, or a recreation. I'm not exactly sure. You know how Toreador are when they do art and anything crafty.
Can you show this to me?
I I can. I don't have it on me currently.
I understand. I would really like to see it.
Hmm. Why are you so interested?
I think I have seen a similar one, and I wonder if I am correct or not.
Hmm. You believe all of them are the same, or
I'm not sure. But if they're part of the same thing, then I feel that is something that my sire will absolutely need to know.
is Prince Ulrich looking for these tablets?
I think I'll let my silence speak for itself in this regard. I don't
Hmm.
feel that I should speak about his business too much. Perhaps
Understood.
he could explain it to you himself if he feels it's necessary, but I do feel that if this tablet is the same or part of the same thing that he's after, then that does confirm a suspicion I have.
I understand. I apologize. That question was in poor taste.
It is fine. I would have asked the same question if I were in your place.
Such is the nature of scholars. We're always hungry, and we're willing to risk even offending people sometimes for such things, or even facing down certain death, and especially certain people on certain roads. But yes, your silence does speak for itself. I cannot blame you for that. Hmm. Yes, I have no problem with, I guess, showing you this. I don't have the actual tablet myself, understand, but I'll be interested to hear what you have to say about it. I have yet to actually sit down and take the time to study it yet, just because my attention has been on the plague and trying to curb it as much as possible, while trying to deal with my own tribulations with the loss of an elder in my clan and making sure my clan gets back to their feet. Though
I
I assume,
understand.
though, with the new prince and everything, yeah, things will settle down now and I can direct more of my attention to it. So hopefully by the next time we meet, I'll have maybe some information for you.
Yes, I would I would be appreciative of that. I am I have to say I am extremely sorry of this happened to the prince. and therefore your clan. And I'm sorry that apparently we could not assist you well enough to deal with this properly. I do hope that we will be able to maintain on a friendly basis.
May
You
I
don't have
make
to.
a sorry?
Yeah, you don't have to apologize on behalf of your clan. Death comes for us all, and if you are not expecting that, then, well, quite frankly, you're a fool. But his death paved the way for a change, and sometimes change is what's needed in order for everybody else to prosper and grow from it. And I believe that is what's going to happen, at least within my clan. As far as a relationship with the La Sombra, well, I definitely like working with you, Irene, and therefore, and well, Memnon too so far, but there are some within your clan that make it awfully hard.
I think that goes for any clan.
May I suggest a project endeavored by like-minded representatives of each of our clans that would be to the mutual benefit in order to re-cement any bonds that have been frayed in light of recent events.
Mm. I'm quite curious of what kind of a project you would propose. What do you what do you have to say about that?
Well, in light of this, as you called her, the whispering woman, miracle
Hmm.
woman, represents a danger to the city at large, our population, nonetheless. If by what Irene suggests is her motivations, showing her up and her like-minded ilk that we can just as equally be beneficial to the people at large, since it was not us who leveled the plague on the mortal populace. Perhaps focusing our attention on restoring the people of Edessa back to statures of health and economic growth. Perhaps then this is the kind of project where those who lay the foundation will reap the greatest benefit. I
Hmm.
do hear that there's a section of the city that was unfortunately ravaged by the plague the hardest.
Yes, the poor always tend to take things the hardest when it comes to these type of issues, especially when it comes to disease and sickness. Um, Unfortunately, um, there's just not much you can do on that front. Although going forward, I would assume that it would indeed already be on the hearts and minds of the um, leadership or the court to, and maybe some other like-minded kindred, to rebuild the populace and rebuild the city. It's going to be needed if we plan to stay here um, for any long period of time. And I have my own plans already for something to at least help with the um, the populace. Anyways, um, I have some issues I have to overcome with it, but mostly I would think monetary. But um, that may hopefully soon be rectified.
It was good to hear. And perhaps in time, Should our individual endeavors ever seem to come to collision, maybe we should remember that if we are all in the same boat, we should help each other not drown, so to speak.
Hmm. I I can admire such a thing, and maybe that's why the wishing woman seems to be dissatisfied with us. But I mean, such an arrangement between you and I, or maybe Irene, might be beneficial, though to others, eh, well, they're only looking out for them and what they can get out of it. And sure, maybe us here could trust each other to not try to um, benefit over one each or each other and try to help each other earnestly. Um, Others just don't see it that way, especially the elders. But who knows? That's why with this new era and this new prince, things might maybe change.
Hopefully. I am not very well versed in especially canine politics, but what I've seen so far, and even during this Elysium, is that some are willing to let the city crumble, only to be able to sit on top of the rubble and call themselves king. It's astonishing, really.
Truth be told, it's not exactly a bad idea if you think about it. If the city is nothing but rubble, other Canaanites will leave, and who is there to oppose you? If that's the case, then you are basically free to build the city up in your image under your own rules and apply or appoint people to the court that would support you.
But if there's no one left, what has anyone gained? If there are no more Canaanites, if there are no more humans, no more houses, there is nothing anymore. It doesn't work like that. It shouldn't work like that. If we're all willing to help each other out, just look beyond our own doors. Just hold out a hand. You don't immediately need to give everything up. Just hold out a hand. If everyone just holds out one hand, we can build bridges.
It is a wise king, as you say, Irene, who works for his people. That should be the order of the world.
Hmm.
Well, I may be no king, but I certainly am not planning to just make this world work for myself. I can assure you of that. That may be terribly naive. That may be suicidal in a sense, perhaps even politically suicidal only. But I could not, in clear conscience, watch to see others suffer. If there is something that I could do, some way I could help.
Hmm. Interesting.
Why?
What if it was your greatest enemy? Would you let them suffer, or would you help them up, knowing that they only go to
I
try
don't.
to thwart you in the in the future?
Well, perhaps if I would reach out my hand and help them, we could create a bridge, and I would have no more enemy but a new friend.
Hmm. I guess one can hope. Hmm. Well then, does uh does Prince Ulrich have the same type of belief? I understand that he's a strong believer in the dream. Truth be told, I don't know exactly what all that means. Is this part of it?
He is trying to recreate the dream here in Timuran. So I could say that it is part of it. I am not very well versed in what it exactly means. This is just my own beliefs. And as far as I've known Prince Ulrich, he is he is most definitely looking for a way to unite everyone and to work together towards a goal.
Hmm.
But he is more practical than I am. I do realize that I am a hopeless idealist.
The silence isn't confirming anything, but um, um, Memnon would ask, "What is this dream you speak of, Irene? I've heard the phrase spoken, but I'm at a loss."
I don't know. I don't know how to character. I feel I should know this in character though by now, but I have no idea.
I think the easy way to sum it up is a form of democracy amongst Canaanites, in a sense.
Mhm.
I think
Yeah,
that would be the best way to kind of uh, put that out there. Yeah. Other than that, I don't exactly know. Truth be told, I find it kind of. I don't understand how that seems to work with Canaanites. They've always seemed so um, self-absorbed, mostly. Um, as far as what they hope to get out of anything, um, even if uh, even if those with good intentions. Uh,
what I what I understood is that dream is something that Michael has, well, developed in Constantinople. It was meant to be a utopia of enlightenment and learning.
hmm.
But
So,
Constantinople fell. I know Ulrich was present there. I'm not quite sure if he was there when it fell.
I know the Wishing Woman was there as well. I think she's even one of the ones to help build it or construct that idea of it. I believe that might be something we might need to talk to her about. It could be. It honestly could be what she's trying to shoot for, as far as all or what her motives are. Just something on a larger scale, but who knows? Anything is possible at this point with no answers. We just have more questions.
True.
Hmm. Well then, was there anything else that we needed to speak upon?
No, no. I would like to, as I pointed out, be able to have a look at this well, copy that you have, but in your time. I will not press the matter.
Yeah, certainly. Well, I don't see any problem with that. But let me have some time with it myself. But once I do, I will surely write to you to um, introduce you to this copy that I have.
Thank you.
It's not a problem.
Then I have nothing more to say than to wish you and your clan the best of luck for now, and
Hmm,
much wisdom, strength.
gracious of you. That is much appreciated, and I wish you good health and to you and your clan. Uh, I guess I will return to my last minute uh what's the word? Player can't think of the word. Last minute blah 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 blah. Things I need to do. Some last minute fuck. Um I do know I need to meet with Madeline regarding a matter. So I guess I should go around arranging that. But again, thank you for both of your inputs regarding the wishing woman and confirming some suspicions I had, and um, I am glad that it came out. Though we have no real concrete answers, we do have directions, and we do have some answers to some things that we wouldn't have known otherwise. Good work to the both of you.
If
Of course.
I may just briefly inquire, am I to understand that this woman is a member of your own clan?
Yes, she is of Clan Cappadocian.
And if, from what I understand, if she is so fallen from this destruction in Istanbul, Memnon says that looking at Irene for confirmation if he got that right.
I mean, she wasn't the one saying that.
Um,
Yes, she was at Constantinople.
she could be suffering from the loss. Perhaps bringing her in back to the fold may have a greater effect than necessarily opposing her. Coming out from the cold into warm, open arms is much more pliable than it would to be facing a stiff resistance. Often, that is the kind of situation that can only affirm someone's own convictions, however illogical they may be.
Hmm. Not exactly illogical, but it's definitely something to ponder on. It might be something we might be able to use, maybe get her comfortable, at least with somebody that maybe she opens up even more. It's not exactly out of the question. Truth be told, I don't know if maybe she will go for such things, but it is definitely worth a try.
I can't say that I myself am any sort of theologian or a pious man, but there is something about forgiveness.
Hmm. Hmm. And Merchant of Bones just kind of looks at Memnon, just gives him like like a introspective type of well, just kind of looks at Memnon for a minute, like as if trying to read him.
Hmm.
Um, it's not exactly threatening or anything, but just more that maybe he wasn't expecting something like that from you, perhaps. Um, but it's definitely not a bad thing. Um, just maybe Memnon just maybe provided some food for thought type of deal. Um,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you kind of just pick up that Memnon is calculating something. To what end, you may not be sure, but
yeah. Hmm. Well, looks like we all have much to chew on, and truth be told, having another person in on trying to understand the motives of this woman, um, and consequently the others as well, um, is better for us. The more perspectives and all, the more we'll be able to see. That be said, I will send for you soon in these nights, Irene, and if you wish, you could bring Memnon with you, or um, have him attend. I'm quite fine with that. And I wish you guys both pleasant evenings.
and
Likewise.
Memnon nods with a smile. Hmm.
Um, one last thing.
Hmm.
Perhaps it might be useful if we would look into her family line.
Hmm.
Something to think about, perhaps.
Yes. I will look into that. I think I come up with on her, but anyways, just because she's of my own clan. So I will have that mm, prepared. Should anything comes up regarding that the next time we meet.
Okay. Well, it was a pleasure speaking with you as always. Irene will curtsy.
Yes, it's always a pleasure to speak with you, Irene. And he gives a small bow, and he reaches out to give Memnon a handshake, and you as well.
Thank you. I find your company to be enlightening, and he'll shake your hand.
Hmm.
Mm.
And with that, he'll just give Memnon a final bow, a firm nod when he says that, just because I don't want him to not acknowledge what he said, and will basically just have himself exit or quietly exit the balcony, leaving the two La Sombra to their own devices.
Yeah, and I think with that, unless Memnon has something to discuss, we could
Um, well,
potentially. No?
Memnon would just kind of look at Irene, studying her, like going through her mind, but he's not going to really broach any subject.
And yeah, Irene seems to be mostly in thought, actually, as she's kind of staring out uh, over the fields and everything. There's lots to think about. So, yeah, I guess we can end the scene there. Thank you, players, for playing, and thank you, watchers, for watching. This was another scene for Edessa the Dark Crusade Season 2.